Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Jarman International, thank you for tuning in. I'm excited about today. Over the past several weeks, we've had different guests on. We had some really great podcasts. We had Michael Simpson on, great young man, some things he's doing in the community with Capital Rebirth. We also had Angela Bates on, powerful woman, is doing a lot of things, a mom, entrepreneur, moving and shaking in the Harrisburg community. And then sprinkle in here and there, we've had the throwback weeks. So just to kind of bring everyone up to speed on where we've been, especially since we have a lot of new followers, just kind of wanted to, have a blast from the past, so to speak, and, have some pretty good podcasts where you guys can learn and glean and so forth. But it's been a while since I've been on, by myself like this. But I felt like it was time for me to do that, without having a guest just come back and share some things. Whenever it's just me, it's more like the family time, the family talk at the dinner table, so to speak. So hope you guys been having a great week. Hope things are going well. Actually, this is the start of your week, Monday. So I pray that you guys have a good week. What I want to do is I want to start a series, okay, or a theme for the month of November. All right, and the theme is For the Love of It. All right, the theme is called For the Love of quote unquote it. All right, and I feel like sometimes it's good to have different speakers on and have it be new for the viewers, but I also think there's some relevance to having a specific topic and a theme, and then kind of building on it each week or every other week. So again, this topic is called For the Love of It, and it can be a lot of different things, all right, to a lot of different people. It can be a career. Maybe you're pursuing your master's to become, a doctor, or you're becoming a lawyer. Maybe, you're play a sport. Maybe you're in middle school or high school and you play a sport. You love that sport. Maybe it could be a relationship. This could pertain to relationships and your significant other. For the love of it. So whatever it is for you, then you envision that, you visualize that. And for myself, growing up, I was really passionate about the game of basketball. As most of you know, those who've been following, have heard my story. I really was passionate about the game of basketball, and a lot of things, basketball taught me a lot. It taught me a lot of things about life. And you people talk about that all the time, a certain sport that they play, or a certain thing they do. Maybe you're in the band, you're in the orchestra, you do different things. And whatever that thing is, whatever that it is, it taught you a lot about life. It taught you a lot about yourself. It taught you just things that could be applicable to your everyday life. So today, under the theme For the Love of It, I want to talk about one particular aspect of it. And what I'll do is today, I'll speak on a certain aspect of this theme, and then on Thursday, there'll be another particular aspect of it. So here's the phrase or quote: when you fall in love with practice, you will be rewarded in public. All right, and this is my quote here. You guys know I love quotes. Sometimes I get them from other people, but a lot of the quotes I share are ones that originated from me. So when you fall in love with practice, you will be rewarded in public. So what does that mean? Give that some thought. As you know, I train a lot of kids in basketball, I train a lot of players. I've done it for a number of years. I do a lot of private lessons, also a lot of group training, okay? And one of the things I share with the players is, you gotta be passionate about this thing. You gotta be passionate about basketball, okay? If your goal is to, reach your full potential, and that full potential is different for different people. Your potential may be you make the high school team, you're a significant part of the team, you contribute, you're a great teammate, you play, you may not be a leading scorer, but you have a great career. That may be some people's maximum when it comes to that particular sport. For some, it may be play college basketball. For some, it may be play professional. And again, you got to take this for whatever it's worth for you in whatever particular area that you love and are passionate about. Some of you may enjoy business. Some of you may enjoy helping people. Serving and helping people. That motivates you. You're passionate about serving. Okay. So again, this message can cross a lot of different paths and areas. Okay. So getting back to what I'll tell the young people and the players I train, I can tell if a player loves the game or not. Okay. I can tell by watching them, by training them, say, I would say a couple weeks, several weeks, I can tell where the player's passion level is at for the sport. And you might say, man, well, how can you do that? How can you tell where someone's passion is at? But there are certain indicators that let me know. And when you fall in love with that particular, with practice, now, let me explain that. When you fall in love with practice, okay, practice is the training, practice is behind the scenes, practice is not glorious, practice is, can be monotonous, training, remember, that's not something in the limelight, that's not something that people may see, that's what practice is, okay? So when you fall in love with that type of thing, where you don't worry about the time, you want to put in the time to get better. You're not focused on how long it takes, the length of it. Okay, when you fall in love with that, then there'll be evidence of that when you perform. Okay, there'll be evidence of your love for practice by your performance. Okay, here's another quote here, and this isn't originated from me, so I'll throw it out there. I heard this years ago, and it pertains to boxing. Okay. Champions aren't crowned in the ring. They're just merely recognized there. Wow, that's good. I like that. So let me say it again. Champions aren't crowned in the ring. They're just merely recognized there. So what does that mean? Okay. So a boxer gets in the ring, and obviously, how many rounds, say you have, obviously you have a winner. So that person just won. However, that winning was a representation of what he's been doing behind the scenes. Okay, it's reflective of his conditioning, training, discipline, focus. All those things go into making a champion. Okay, so if you don't do all those things, if you're not disciplined, if you're not showing up to the gym to train, if you're not focused, if you don't have a good eating habits, if you're not doing those things, then guess what's going to show up in the ring? Defeat. Okay, you're not in position to win because you didn't do those things that led up to it. So the person that wins, and sometimes fights are they kind of are, they go back and forth and it looks like it's even. It's not a unanimous decision. The scorecards are close. That means both fighters really put in, a good amount of training. Let's say the person that gets crowned in the ring, that's a representation. The audience and the viewers get to see what he's been doing behind closed doors. All right, so when you fall in love with practice, you will be rewarded in public. Okay, and for myself, I know when I was a kid and training and practicing and so forth, like I was passionate about basketball. Okay, I was passionate about the game of basketball, and every time you saw me, I had a ball. out of that. Every time you saw me. Actually, adults used to tell me as I got older, they would say, every time we saw you, you had a basketball. You was bouncing the ball. So there are certain little things that I was doing that prepared me for the success I had. So there are 5 keys that I want to share, okay, related to this topic. What does falling in love look like? All right. What does falling in love look like? Because I would venture to say that some people aren't in love, they're just infatuated. You know, I'll say some people aren't in love, it's not real, you know, they think they are, or there's another level to which they can go. Okay, and this could be pertaining to relationships, you know. So what does falling in love look like? I'm going to present 5 keys to where you can examine yourself. You know, today you can examine yourself and see where you're at. All right. Key number one is you can never get enough. Okay. Key number 1. What does falling in love look like? The number 1 key that gives credence to that you are in love is you can never get enough of it. All right. For me, I'm gonna relate back to, you know, practicing and basketball and so forth. Like, I always wanted to be on the court. You know, I could practice I could be in the gym for 3 hours, or be on the outdoor court in my yard for 3 hours. And while I'm home, I couldn't wait, or when I'm done, I couldn't wait to get back. You know, there was never enough. And so on the flip side, let me say this. Those who aren't passionate about it, those who aren't in love with it, when you're away from it, or you feel like there's a certain amount of practice, that's enough. So on the flip side, you know, you may feel like if you're not passionate about it, this is too much. Okay? So I'm just throwing some things out so you can kind of examine whatever that it is for you, okay? So you can never get enough of it. You always want to be around it, okay? Key number 2, you're passionate about being in that particular place. You're passionate about being in the lab. You're passionate about being in the court, okay? By any means, you will find a way to get there. Those who are passionate make a way. They don't accept no. When you're passionate about something, you'll walk miles to get there, okay? You'll do whatever it takes. That's what passion looks like. If you're not passionate about it, then any excuse will keep you away from it. All right? When you're not passionate about it, you can find 1,000 excuses not to do it. So keep that in mind, okay? When you are passionate, you won't settle for no, and you do whatever it takes to make it happen, okay? Key number 3, you no longer focus on time, okay? Key number 3, you no longer focus on time. Time doesn't matter, okay? When I used to practice and in the gym, you know, I remember when I was growing up outside practicing in the yard, my mom and dad would have to call me in to eat. If they didn't call me in to eat, I would have been on the court. I would have been out of practice for 5, 6, 7 hours. Excuse me, that's not an exaggeration, okay? They literally had to call me in. I lose track of time, okay? That's what falling in love looks like, okay? That's what passion looks like, okay? You didn't have to tell me I need to go practice. You didn't have to push me to go, okay? I went on my own, all right? So, key number 1, you could never get enough, okay? Key number 2, you're passionate about being in the lab or the court or wherever the case might be. Number 3, you no longer focus on time, okay? And I'm going to do one more, okay? Last one for today. This is number 4. You will have an obsession with getting better. Okay? You will have an obsession with getting better. So, what does that mean? Okay? For me, again with basketball, like because I wanted to get better and be not only my best, but I wanted to be the best when I was on the court. Because of that, when I practiced, I was always visualizing things I could do to improve. Or if there was a weakness, I wanted to work on it. Or if there was a coach who had feedback for me, okay, if he saw something in my game that needed corrected, I was open to constructive criticism because I had an obsession to get better. If you're not passionate about it, okay, you won't receive constructive criticism well. If you're not really in love with it, okay, then you won't receive instruction very well. Your attitude won't receive instruction very well. And I see this with kids all the time. They take constructive criticism the wrong way. Okay? If I'm in love with it, I want to know how I can get better. I want to know how I can be the best. Okay? So those are 4 things. Again, under the theme, for the love of quote unquote it, and the topic, that's the topic, but today's lesson was when you fall in love with practice, you will be rewarded in public. So those are 4. On the next podcast, on Thursday, I'm going to share what the last one is, okay? Because we're running out of time here. I'll share the last one. That means you got to come back. I'll leave you hanging so you can come back on Thursday. So we'll do a recap, and then I'll share the 5th one, then I'll go into something else. Hope this helped you. Leave some comments, share this, let me know what you think. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this was helpful. And thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Have a great week, and we'll see you back on Thursday. All right? Always remember, greatness is inside of you. Be blessed.
Perfect.